Good day, everyone. We are the group 6. So we are assigned to tackle about a bone marrow and reticulocyte count investigation. So here is our case. Our case is about the unsolved missing RBC. Intriguing, right? So let's proceed. So here is our case contributed by Dr. Alicia Hunt and Dr. Grant Bullock. Their case is about an 18-month-old boy with parental complaints of fussiness and pallor. So here are the objectives. As we go along the discussion, the students would be able to develop the ability to identify hallmark symptoms of TEC, such as pallor and irritability in pediatrics patients aged 1 month to 6 years. Second, the students would be able to interpret key laboratory findings, including normocytic, normochromic anemia with low reticulocyte counts, and recognize bone marrow characteristics like normal cellularity with reduced erythropoiesis. Third, the students would be able to enhance skills in differentiating TEC from other hematologic disorders by contrasting clinical laboratory features, focusing on distinctions from conditions such as diamond blackfan anemia and parvovirus B19 infection. And lastly, at the end of the discussion, the students would be able to formulate effective management plans tailored to TEC patients, emphasizing the self-limiting nature of the condition and identifying scenarios where interventions such as transfusions are warranted. So, let's now dig deeper to our case. So, here is our three suspects to the unsolved missing RBC. We have your suspect number one, parvovirus B19. Second suspect is the diamond blackfan anemia or DBA. And lastly, we have your TEC or transient erythroblastopenia of childhood. So here is our patient. Her mother is is quite worried to her child, which is he cries her child cries a lot, and he has fever. So here is the patient history. So upon admission, the mother tells the doctor that and was diagnosed or was initially diagnosed to have febrile seizure, which means that it has a convulsion triggered by fever, right? And it is typical, common for 18 months. And this is alarming, but that do not cause long-term health problems. Second, the patient experiences fussiness. Fussiness, which means the patient is being irritable. Diba? This is common to to toddlers or infants. So which means the patient is having discomfort. So when the patient is having discomfort, especially when in 18 months, this may indicate that the patient is mabisin because babies cannot tell what they want or what they need. So they may feel discomfort because baka nakatakid na dyan ti diaper da or may makati, makaisbo or ada na sakit. Right? So those are the common description of the patient to the doctor. And lastly, the patient is in pallor, which means in it means the patient is having pale skin. So this is an indication of reduced RBC and hemoglobin, leading to anemia. So what tests should we do to confirm if this physical examination is true that this indication, I mean, these symptoms is a true anemia. So, as a remedy, the doctor ordered for a laboratory test. So, after laboratory test, here are the abnormal results or the laboratory assessment. So, if we all know, 2.4 GDL of hemoglobin is quite low, right? So, what is the common accepted value of hemoglobin in 18 months? It is, yes, the patient should have 10.5 to 13.5 GDL of hemoglobin. And the 2.4 value is super low, right? So that's one to be noted. Second, the patient has 79.4 FLMCV, mean cell volume. So this is technically low because the normal value of MCV is 780. I mean 79.5. Correct me. The normal value for 18 months is 79.5 and the 79.4 value is slightly low. And lastly, we have your retic count, which is 0.3%. And this is also low by zero point 0.2 because for infants, the normal value is 0.5 to 3.1. So you see, each point counts. So we should do our job accurately and, you know, accurately and precise because each point matters. So for ethnic count, adult has a normal value of 0.5 to 2%, while infant, as I said earlier, it's 0.5 to 3.1%, and for newborn, they has 2.5 to 6.5. Okay? So what is the remedy for this if this patient has this low HGB, slightly low MCV, and that low retic count? So the doctor will what? Will order for blood transfusion. Abi, ano siya? For blood transfusion. So, the patient is admitted, right? And was ordered to have a blood transfusion. Bakit? Kasi nga, it is confirmed that the patient is anemic, right? Now, after the blood transfusion, after a while, the doctor ordered for a laboratory test for his follow-up checkup, right? Now, here is if here is the ano, here is the follow-up laboratory after the patient have taken its blood transfusion. Abby Tanyalon, take it over. It seems that Abby Tanyalon is having technical difficulties. So here are the laboratory results after the transfusion.
Hello. So, wait. So let's now proceed to the laboratory results of the patient. So why did the patient have low RBC, hemoglobin, hematocrit, and high MCV? So as we can see in the table, the patient has low RBC, hemoglobin, and hematocrit due to a condition that temporarily suppresses the red blood cell production. So this leads to a significant decrease in erythropoiesis or red cell formation in the bone marrow, causing anemia. So on the other hand, the high MCV occurs because during the bone marrow recovery, larger immature red blood cells are initially produced, increasing the MCV. So this is common finding in bone marrow recovery states. So next slide, please. So exactly is the patient's condition? What's behind the anemia? Let's dive deeper into the case and find it out. So, is the patient condition caused by parvovirus? So, what is parvovirus and how is parvovirus related to the patient's case? So, parvovirus B19 can cause a transient drop in red blood cell production, leading to pure red cell aplasia or PRCA. So, in this case, the child presented with severe anemia and reticulocytopenia, which can be seen in both transient erythroblastopenia and childhood, and also with the parvovirus B19 infection. So since parvovirus infects erythroid precursors, it can cause an acute anemia similar to TEC. So what are the symptoms of parvovirus? So the common symptoms are fever and flu-like symptoms, slap cheek rash, lazy rash on the body, arthritis or joint pain, and aplastic crisis. So what tests should be done to diagnose parvovirus? So to confirm parvovirus B19 infection, the following tests are performed. Number one will be parvovirus B19 PCR. It detects DNA in the blood confirming an active infection. Number two will be parvovirus B19 IgM and IgG antibodies. So IgM positive will indicate recent infection and the IgG positive indicates past infection or immunity. Number three will be bone marrow examination. And number four will be the reticulocyte count. So typically, the lab result will be very low in parvovirus-induced PRC antigen. Next slide, please. So the parvovirus B19 PCR test was performed and the result was negative. So therefore, the patient's anemia was not caused by parvovirus B19. So as confirmed by the negative PCR, since parvovirus B19 PCR was negative, there was no detectable viral DNA in the patient's blood, ruling out an active infection.
So, ano nga ba talaga yung nagkakos ng anemia? So, as we go through his lab results of his bone marrow biopsy, there was a very high myeloid erythroid ratio. Next slide po. So first, what is myeloid erythroid ratio? What does it mean if high and low MA ratio and why bone marrow biopsy was performed? So the myeloid to erythroid ratio in a bone marrow biopsy refers to the ratio of myeloid cells which give rise to white blood cells. Yung myeloid cells, ito yung white blood cells. Then two erythroid cells which give rise to red blood cells in the bone marrow. So the MA ratio provides insight into the marrow cellular composition and its functioning, specifically the balance between different cell lineages. So, ang normal MA ratio in a normal adult bone marrow, the typical MA ratio is about 3:1 to 4:1, meaning there are 3 to 4 myeloid cells for every erythroid cells. So, pag sinabi nating high MA ratio, A high MA ratio indicates an increased number of myeloid cells relative to erythroid cells. Mas marami yung myeloid cells or the WBCs kaysa sa erythroid cells, yung RBC. So this could suggest myeloproliferative disorders where the bone marrow produces an excess of myeloid cells, or infection where the body is producing more white blood cells in response to an immune challenge, or iron deficiency anemia, which might cause increased myeloid production to compensate for a lack of red blood cells. Or another is leukemia, particularly if the myeloid cells are abnormal or immature. So, pag sinabi nating low MA ratio, a low MA ratio indicates an increase of erythroid cells than myeloid cells. Mas elevated naman yung erythroid cells natin or yung mga sinasabi nating RBCs kaysa sa myeloid cells. So this might be seen in erythropoiesis where the body is trying to produce more red blood cells, possibly due to anemia, and a bone marrow suppression where the production of myeloid cells is reduced but erythroid production is increased and compensation. So bone marrow biopsy was performed or usually done because you have a problem making blood cells, or just like in the case you have unexplained anemia or the lack of red blood cells. So unexplained anemia, if a child presents with unexplained severe anemia, low hemoglobin, and there is suspicion of viral infection affecting bone marrow function, a bone marrow biopsy might be done to look for the viral particles or signs of viral infection in the marrow. This is especially relevant if there is no clear cause of anemia. Then bone marrow suppression. Parvovirus B19 can cause bone marrow suppression, leading to reduced production of one or more blood cell types. In severe cases, this suppression could involve all blood cell lines, or what we call the pancytopenia. If there are concerns about a biopsy would provide crucial information. So, testing for infection. Sometimes a bone marrow biopsy is used to test for infection or viral diseases that are affecting the marrow. Parvovirus B19 can be detected in the marrow, especially during the acute phase of the infection. So, testing for parvovirus B19 in the bone marrow of an 18-month-old is typically done when there's a suspicion that the virus is causing severe or persistent anemia, especially in children with underlying hematologic conditions.
Let's dive deeper on the other alleged suspect of this case, deepening the investigation, the bone marrow biopsy. Our next move, we dig deeper. A bone marrow biopsy is performed, and here's what we found. Presented here are the images of bone marrow biopsy results of the patient. A bone marrow biopsy is a diagnostic test used to examine the cells within the bone marrow, which is essential for blood cell production. The morphologic review of the biopsy in this case indicates several key points. Number one, adequate cellularity for age, estimated 90%. This means that the bone marrow sample contains the appropriate number of cells relative to the person's age. In adults, bone marrow typically consists of 30 to 70% of cells. And in this case, about 90% of the bone marrow is cellular, suggesting normal or slightly high cellular content for the individual's age. Second, marked decrease in erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis refers to the production of red blood cells. A marked decrease indicates that the production of red blood cells is significantly reduced in this case. This can be a sign of anemia or other hematologic disorders. Third, complete myeloid maturation. Myeloid maturation refers to the development of white blood cells like neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils from their precursor cells. Complete myeloid maturation suggests that the white blood cell line is developing properly without any arrests or abnormalities in their maturation. Fourth, adequate megakaryocytes. Megakaryocytes are the cells responsible for producing platelets. Adequate numbers of megakaryocytes suggest normal platelet production. And fifth, no morphologic abnormalities identified. This means that despite the findings of decreased erythropoiesis, there were no unusual or abnormal cell shapes, sizes, or distributions, indicating no immediate concern for cancers like leukemia or other bone marrow diseases. Erythropoiesis, almost non-existent. His bone marrow should be cranking out red blood cells, but it's barely trying. Myeloid cells are maturing normally, and megakaryocytes, the cells responsible for platelets, are fine. But where are the red blood cells? Thus, the bone marrow biopsy shows that while the production of red blood cells is reduced, the white blood cell maturation and platelet production are normal, with no abnormal cell characteristics. This could indicate a specific problem affecting erythropoiesis, but overall, the bone marrow appears to be functioning well in other areas. On the surface, it looks like a condition we're all familiar with, the diamond black fan anemia, or DBA. It's a disorder that wipes out red blood cell production just like what we're seeing here. In this scenario, the medical team is investigating the possibility of diamond black fan anemia, a rare genetic disorder that primarily affects the bone marrow's ability to produce red blood cells. The team is focusing on RPS19, a gene known to be linked to DBA. RPS19 is responsible for encoding a protein essential for the function of ribosomes, which are the cell's protein-making machinery. Mutations in this gene are one of the most common causes of DBA. The process being described involves genetic testing to identify potential mutations in the RPS19 gene, specifically in exons 1 to 6. Exons are the regions of the gene that are transcribed into RNA and then translated into proteins. So mutations in these areas can disrupt protein production and potentially cause diseases like DBA. Here's the breakdown of the situation. Testing of exons 1 to 6 of the RPS19 gene, the genetic test focus on the key regions exons 1 to 6 of the RPS19 gene that are commonly associated with DBA. These exons are selected because mutations in them have been identified in many patients with DBA. After running the test, no mutations are found in the genes, exons. This means that despite DBA being the leading hypothesis, there is no genetic exceeding pointing evidence pointing to a problem with the RPS19 gene in this case. Despite initial suspicion and thorough testing, the absence of mutations in the RPS19 gene leaves the medical team with no clear explanation for the patient's condition. It suggests that either DBA is not the correct diagnosis or the underlying genetic cause might lie outside of the RPS19 gene or in other regions not covered by the test. Thus, the genetic testing intended to confirm diamond black fan anemia has failed to reveal any mutations in the expected gene, which leaves the medical team at a standstill. They will likely need to explore alternative explanations, possibly testing other genes or considering other forms of anemia.
So, if parvovirus is not the suspect or prospect for the missing RBC, and it is confirmed that it is not diamond black fan anemia, then we should undergo flow cytometry. So, why was cytometry performed, and what does it tell us? Flow cytometry is a laboratory technique used to analyze the physical and chemical properties of cells. It works by passing cells in a fluid through a laser beam and measuring the light they scatter or emit. This allows for the identification and characterization of different cell types based on specific markers on their surface or inside the cell. Why was it is used in this case? In the case of the missing RBC. So flow cytometry was performed to rule out any clonal populations of B cells or abnormal T cells, which could suggest a hematologic malignancy like leukemia or lymphoma. In this patient, the absence of clonal B cells and abnormal T cells on flow cytometry helped confirm that the patient did not have a cancerous proliferation of these cells, which can sometimes present with similar symptoms of anemia or blood abnormalities. In summary, flow cytometry helps identify abnormal cell populations, and in this case, its results were reassuring, supporting the diagnosis of what you'll see later, rather than a malignancy. Now, let's discuss the results of flow cytometry and what they tell us about the patient's condition. First, we note that there are no B cell population or abnormal T cell population while observed. Ano nga ba ang B cell? Ang clonal B cell population refers to a group of B cells that have all originated from a single progenitor cell. The presence of clonal B cells could indicate a malignant process such as B cell lymphoma or leukemia. Since no clonal population was found, we can rule out this condition in this patient. Additionally, the hematogones were moderately increased. Hematogones are early precursor cells in the development of B cells, while a small number of hematogones is normal. An increase may indicate a response to infection or immune stimulation. In this case, this moderate increase is likely a reactive response rather than a sign of malignancy. Next, bottom three is the cytogenetic testing. It was performed on the bone marrow and showed normal male karyotype. This means that no chromosal abnormalities were detected, which rule out conditions like chromosomal translocations or abnormalities often seen in malignancies like leukemia. This finding supports the diagnosis of to be, to be tackled by Avi Bangawil, as those are no underlying genetic abnormalities were found out.
All right, let us now go with our third suspect, transient erythroblastopenia of childhood, or TEC-TEC. This is an acute self-limiting anemia that typically affects children between 1 month and 6 years of age. What's happening here is that the bone marrow temporarily stops producing RBCs. This leads to low hemoglobin, a low reticulocyte count, and bone marrow that shows decreased erythroid precursors, basically fewer red blood cell makers. Children often present with symptoms like pallor and signs of anemia, though yung anemia, nadidiscover siya minsan incidentally during routine exams. As seen in our patient, TEC is characterized by normocytic, normochromic anemia, and a reticulocyte count of less than 2%. In some cases, absolute neutropenia can also be observed, which was not present in our patient. The bone marrow examination is not usually required for the diagnosis, but sa case na to, it helped confirm the findings. So balikan natin ang symptoms of TEC. First, yung pallor. This is yung pinaka-common na presenting symptom. Pangalawa, children may also experience fatigue, fussiness, and poor feeding. And third, in more severe cases, they may show signs of tachycardia or shortness of breath due to anemia. Ang good news dito is that TEC is temporary. Yung bone marrow ng body natin simply takes a brief break, and after 4 to 8 weeks or sometimes longer, it picks up the pace again, restoring normal red blood cell production. So that's our TEC. Let us now go back to the first two suspects of the case. The first one, balikan lang natin. Suspect number 1, parvovirus B19. Our clue, parvovirus B19 is notorious for its ability to target and shut down RBC production in the bone marrow. This often leads to severe anemia, accompanied by a very, very low reticulocyte count. That is why maiisip natin na this is a possible match sa findings nung bata. Our evidence, we tested for parvovirus B19 using CPR, essentially looking for viral DNA in the blood. However, the results came back negative. Walang evidence ng gantong virus sa kanya, meaning it didn't cause the anemia. Therefore, the disease is not guilty. Parvovirus B19 has a solid alibi. It wasn't the culprit behind this anemia. Second suspect, Diamond Blackfan anemia. Next slide, please. Diamond Blackfan anemia, or DBA. This is a serious genetic disorder that usually shows up in infants. It's marked by a severe persistent anemia with a near absence of erythroid precursors, leading to a low hemoglobin count. It also tends to cause macrocystosis, where the RBCs are larger than normal, and it's often linked to genetic mutations in certain ribosomal proteins. Evidence natin, we did see that the patient had anemia. However, the MCV was only slightly elevated, not the extreme macrocystosis we'd expect with DBA. More importantly, kapag tiningnan natin yung genetic evidence by testing for mutations in the RPS19 gene, it came back negative. Therefore, no mutations, no DBA. So ang verdict natin, Diamond Blackfan anemia is ruled out. That's our prime suspect, transient erythroblastopenia of childhood. TEC, again, this is an acute and self-limiting condition that typically affects children between the ages of 1 month and 6 years, as I've said a while ago. So our evidence, when we check this patient's blood, the findings lined up perfectly with TEC. He had very low hemoglobin, a low reticulocyte count, and the bone marrow showed erythroid hypoplasia, basically a decrease in RBC precursors. Additionally, the myeloid to erythroid ratio was markedly increased, which is a hallmark sign of TEC or TEC. Importantly, TEC is self-limiting, meaning it typically resolves on its own, often without the need for long-term treatment So we can now call our third suspect or prime suspect. Verdict: guilty. TEC is the one responsible for the anemia in this case. However, we don't need to worry for the patient because the bone marrow will get back to work and produce healthy RBCs soon enough. So there we have it. The case is closed. We've ruled out parvovirus B19 and diamond blackfan anemia with solid evidence. And after reviewing all the facts, it's clear that transient erythroblastopenia of childhood is the true culprit.
Now, now TEC is guilty. So now let's proceed to our Q&A rationalization. So number 1, naka-present ba? Hindi. Sandali. Hindi pala siya naka-present. So let's proceed to our Q&A rationalization. So here are the 10 questions prepared by each of the member of the group. So number 1, considering the patient's severe anemia and low reticulocyte count, which of the following treatment is most appropriate as initial intervention? A. Oral iron supplementation. B. Blood transfusion. C. Vitamin B12 injections. Or D. Erythropoiesis stimulating agents. The answer is letter B. Just like what we did, it's blood transfusion. In cases of severe anemia with critically low hemoglobin levels, immediate blood transfusion is necessary to stabilize the patient and restore the adequate oxygen carrying capacity. Number 2, in the context of severe anemia with a low reticulocyte count, which the following is a common infections cause that should be considered? A. Parvovirus. B. Epstein-Barr virus. C. Cytomegalovirus. Or D. Herpes simplex virus. The answer is letter. Our suspect number 1, it's A. Parvovirus B19. Parvovirus B19 infections can cause transient aplastic crisis, just like what Abe Tanilon says, particularly in patients with underlying hemolytic disorders. It leads to a temporarization of red blood cell production, resulting in severe anemia and low reticulocyte count. That's why it is said to be our suspect number 1. Next.
Ayun.
Next, number 3. So, which lab finding best supports the diagnosis of anemia in this patient? So, it's letter B, low hemoglobin and hematocrit. As what our first laboratory finding says, merong low hemoglobin and low hematocrit yung patient. So, the result like this is a common knowledge that it is indication of anemia. Next, we have number 4. So, why is the patient's MCV elevated after the first transfusion? Bakit nga ba? So, it's letter B. The patient is recovering from anemia and transfusion. So, why? Ate Abby Tanilon, take it over.
So the answer is the patient is recovering from anemia and transfusion. This is because an increased MCV suggests macrocytosis. So this can occur after transfusion as the body responds to anemia. Additionally, reticulocytosis or immature RBCs can cause transient MCV increase as reticulocytes um, are decreased.
Number 5, Ate Jamela. What was the hemoglobin level found in patient's laboratory assessment?
So the hemoglobin level found in the patient's laboratory assessment is letter C, 2.4 grams per DL. So the patient's hemoglobin level was critically low at 2.4 grams per DL, which contributed to the presentation of pallor and fussiness. Next slide. So what abnormality was observed in the bone marrow differential? So the answer for this is letter B, markedly increased myeloid erythroid ratio. So the bone marrow differential showed a significantly increased myeloid erythroid ratio, which suggests impaired erythropoiesis in the setting of anemia.
Which genetic mutations are most commonly associated with Diamond-Blackfan anemia? The answer is letter B. Mutations in RPS19 and other ribosomal protein genes. The majority of DBA cases are caused by mutations in genes encoding ribosomal proteins such as RPS19, RPS24, and RPL5, which disrupt normal ribosome function and red blood cell production. Which of the following is a common symptom of Diamond-Blackfan anemia? And the answer is letter C, macrocytic anemia. One of the hallmark features of DBA is macrocytic anemia, which means that the red blood cells are larger than normal. It is due to the ineffective erythropoiesis.
For our ninth question, what is the typical age range for children affected by transient erythroblastotemia of childhood or TEC? Ano ulit yung sinabi ko kanina? Children between 1 month to 6 years. Letter A. That most commonly affects children between 1 month and 6 years of age, and this is the period when viral infections are frequent. Last question. What is the final diagnosis for the 18-month-old boy with pallor and fussiness? The answer is letter C. Transient erythroblastopenia of childhood or TEC. This is a self-limiting anemia that typically follows a viral illness characterized by normocytic anemia and low reticulocyte count. So that would be all for our case study, questions, and rationalization. As Ben and Ben said,
Think of all the times
all
you
will be
told me
alright in time.
to touch the light. I never thought
Pag-aalaga sa
to
isang 18-month-old na pasyente na may transient erythroblastotemia of childhood,
justify how
naaalala natin ang malalim na mensahe sa kanya.
everything we
Ang
cherish.
PEC ay isang kondisyon
And
kung
if
saan pansamantalang humihinto ang produksyon ng RBC, but it will be alright in time. Time heals. Para sa mga magulang at healthcare workers, ito ay isang nakakabahalang sitwasyon. Takot, may pangamba, ngunit sa kabila ng pag-aalala, ang pinakamahalagang leksyon dito ay ang halaga ng pagtitiwala sa proseso at pagpapaubaya sa panahon.
no, you never really love someone.
Here's the song's message that, like leaves growing from barren trees, healing and renewal come with time. Teaches us that despite challenges and moments of doubt, patience and hope are essential. In both medicine and life, trusting the process
Try as hard
allows us to
as
work
a man
forward,
to
deepen
flee the
and recover trust.
of tonight. It haunts me sa buhay at sa medisina, hindi natin kontrolado ang lahat ng bagay. Pero kaya nating piliing magtiwala kahit na tila mabagal ang paghilom. Kahit na puno ng tanong ang ating isipan, dapat nating panghawakan ang pananampalataya na sa dulo ng lahat, gagaling at magiging maayos din ang lahat sa tamang panahon.
And to my classmates, you may be experiencing tough times now, just like the bone marrow of our patient. Remember, all will be right in time. You don't have to feel complete right now, and there is no rush to fix yourself instantly. Just hold on to the belief that eventually the tough times will fade and we will witness brighter days ahead.
We,
We
We
just
just
have
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 to
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 believe
believe
believe that
someday
that
someday
someday
the winter
the
will
winter
pass
will
and
pass
we will
See the
see
and we
the
will
spring
see the
spring
beginning through
spring
our
reigning
reigning
through
eyes.
through
our
our
eyes.
eyes.
The
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 flowers
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 will
will
flowers
bloom
will
will
again
bloom
bloom
again
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 as
as
we
we
as
hope
we
hope
to
to
hope
bloom
to
bloom
in
bloom
this
in
in
world.
this
this
world.
world.
Leaves will soon grow from the banners of trees. All will be alright inside.